Hey there, it's Melissa and I'm so excited to be here with you for the first time on the Hip Kit Club YouTube channel. It's Product Focus Wednesday and I am working with the amazing August 2020 kits. The products that I chose to work with or focus on are the Simple Stories chipboard and the exclusive Awesome Life die cut tags. And so both of these products come in the embellishment kit. I'm also using the main kit and the cardstock kit. So just showing you the products there. I've pulled the beautiful yellow cardstock and I love the look of like a dark navy with yellow. And so I've also pulled that navy, it's very dark navy, it's almost black, but a navy and blue and white stripe. And I've just torn my edge just to add some extra texture to that paper. So at this point I'm going for my go-to design, which is like covering probably third of the page with pattern paper that I want to feature and then building from there. My layout will change though as you'll see. So I've pulled most of the tags out and there is more than just tags in this die cut tag pack. But these tags in particular remind me of the aeroplane tickets that you get or used to get, depending on whether you're using electronic tickets. Anyway, they remind me of those, so I thought this is a travel layout, so I wanted to get as many of these as I could onto my page. And with this one, I've just popped out the cool vibes inner letters. They come out really easily. And then I'm just using, for the O's and the B, I'm using the part I've popped out for a stencil just to glue back in the inner parts. So you don't have to do this. You could leave them completely open like they are there. But I just like the look of adding these pieces back in. And you don't have to use the inner parts as a stencil either. It'd be really easy just to put them back in, but this is a little technique I do when I'm backing cut files and I think I just naturally do it. So I did have a bit of a struggle with the B, but in the end I got it to work. And I think with the bottom part of the B, I gave up using the inner part as a stencil and I just glued it on. So you're about to see that now. So a little bit about the photo. This is my daughter Brielle. It's a couple of years old. She's 6 now, so I'm guessing, yeah, she must have been around about 4 in this photo. And it was her first time on an aeroplane. We live in Queenstown, New Zealand, which is an alpine resort in the South Island of New Zealand. And I'm originally from near Auckland, and so we were flying up to see my parents for Easter. And my sister and her husband were over from the UK. I'm not sure if they'd moved back to New Zealand at that point. I think they were just over for a holiday. So it was really exciting. My kids had never met them and I hadn't met their kids. So that was a huge cause of excitement for our whole family. And Brielle, of course, was old enough to know that she hadn't been on an aeroplane before, and I just took this really cute photo of her going up the stairs onto the plane. So where we live, the airport is pretty small. There's no covered sort of walkways to get to the plane, so we always have to go out, come rain, hail, snow, and walk onto the airplane. So yeah, super cute photo of her. And I also love that because she's wearing pink, it goes really well with yellow and the navy and white stripe as well. So the colours in these kits are amazing. These are pretty much all exclusive products except for some products in this kit are from Simple Stories, like the chipboard that I'm using, and also some brads. And so the colour intensity on the papers is amazing, and the texture of the papers is amazing too. And if you're like me and you love the tactile part of scrapbooking, you'll definitely relate to a good quality paper. So I am just wanting to add some of that pink paper. I didn't want to cut apart anything from the paper add-on of that paper, so I just I cut that piece in half, stapled it down, and once I get my photo on, you'd never know that it was made from 2 pieces of paper. So I'm adding some craft foam just between my paper layers just to lift up my photo. I love lots of dimension and I love lots of texture. And so that's why I love distressing and lifting and adding dimension or adhesive. So I am struggling a bit, I have to admit. So I'm definitely wanting to glue down this paper because I know I want it there. But what I'm struggling with is the number of tags I want to add. And I've added this machine stitching off camera. and I'm just lifting up my edges as well, so that's some more texture. But what I'm not wanting to do is cover all that machine stitching, because, you know, I went to the effort of putting it on there, so why would I then cover it all up? I want it to be seen. So I was thinking this kind of design here, but it's not working for me. So I've left this in because I just want you to see the reality of scrapbooking, I guess. And sometimes when I have the camera going, I don't know why, but I find it not pressured, but sometimes I find it hard to create. But yeah, so I will turn the camera off soon, and then yeah, I'll show you what happens next. So it's still trying to work out what I'm going to do here. There's a guy standing further up the stairs, and you can see his legs, and I really don't want him in this photo. I want the focus to be totally onto my daughter. So I've put one of those chipboard floral pieces down, and I've got another one. I want to use this Happy Travels chipboard title. I think it's perfect because she is so happy. She's a pretty happy child, except when she's not happy, but she's mostly happy all the time. It's a very easy child. So I definitely want to use that. I'm now wanting to see how I can use these tags in a more creative way. So it did pain me a bit to cut them apart, but you know, you need to make the products work for you. So I did that with the blue one, and I'm still fussing around thinking that this orientation of my layout is going to work. Overhead, that other little flower, and I love how that looks to cover up that person in the photo. So just tucking the Cool Vibes tag behind there. I also like to put tags upside down so that I can hang my twine down, and I also thought about having that rainbow circular tag hanging off the blue one. So in the meantime, you know, distressing my edges while I still think of what I'm going to do, playing around with the Happy Travels. And I actually like it there because it covers that guy's feet. So we're going to go ahead and commit to that. I'm just adding a couple of layers of the craft foam just to lift it up, because like I said, I love dimension. And yeah, off camera, I had turned this paper around, just messing around, really trying to get it to work for me. And this is where I realized that this is the orientation that I really want, and it's going to work heaps better because I'm not going to be covering up all my stitching with those tags. So I can already see that that's looking 100 times better. I'm loving that Cool Vibes. It's like a subtitle, I guess. I love that it's tucked under that other little piece of navy and white stripe that I've torn, and I also took that over to my machine and added some stitching. So this little chipboard suitcase and bags is perfect as well for the theme of my layout, and that's actually why I chose to scrap this photo, because I wanted to see how many of those chipboard travel themed pieces I could use up. This little banner piece comes from the tag pack as well, and I just like that it adds a little bit more colour and takes some of the orange colour up to that little cluster. So I'm realising that I will probably need a third cluster. I just think it needs something at the bottom there. So of course I want to add another tag. I've committed to those suitcases, and this orange tag is where my journaling will be held. So going ahead and adhering my photo, I don't have a T-square ruler, but I've got this little triangular one, and that helps me line up my photos to make sure that they're straight. And then I'm wanting to add some twine. So this is just some embroidery floss from my stash. I went through and picked out colours that matched. And what I'm wanting to do here is colour match to the colours of the tags. So I've put some purple on the purple, and you'll see me add the corresponding colours to the other tags. I tried to get that little chipboard camera onto this layout. I think I've tried to get that onto every layout or project that I've made this month with these kits. It will make it eventually, but not onto this one. So I do find that the chipboard does need a little bit of extra adhesive, just some liquid glue just to hold it down. If you follow me on my channel, you've probably heard me talk about the time that I went to put some layouts away. I don't scrap chronologically, but yeah, I went to put some away, and I discovered some of my layouts had bits and pieces at the bottom of the page protector, which wasn't cool because Some of them I'd created maybe 10 years ago and I couldn't remember what went where. So luckily I could just look on my Instagram and find those layouts and just then adhere the pieces. So just a little tip that sometimes it's worth adding a little bit more adhesive. So this little blue top of the tag has found its home below my photo, and it's starting to come together now. I'm definitely loving adding the twine or the floss. It's very rare for me to use a tag and not put any twine or floss onto them, into the holes. Wanting to add another tag, and I'm getting into the flow of cutting these apart now, distressing the edge to make it match everything else, and I like the way it looks just tucked under that little cluster. So I'm also adding some dimensional adhesive underneath the tops of those tags and lifting them up a bit. Like I said, I love a lot of dimension on my layouts, and I don't think, I've added so much dimension that it's going to affect the size of my albums or the fullness of my albums. I just make it work, and I don't mind having, extra dimension in my page protectors. So I've tied the pink floss into a bow, and a little trick that I've learnt just by discovering it myself really is if you tie your bow upside down, that's the way to get the tails of the bow to hang down. So that always seems to work for me. I do find that baker's twine ties a better bow than embroidery floss, but anyway, that's fine. So I'm now adding some of these gorgeous little brads. They are traditional brads, and like I said, they're from Simple Stories. I just love the travel theme of them, and I end up adding 3. And I just love how they look. So what I will say is I've been a subscriber for many, many, many years. I tried to work it out. I think it might have been 2016 or 2015 that I started subscribing. And I just adore my hip kits. There's never been a kit that I haven't loved. I have learnt pretty quickly that the main kit is not enough for me. I need embellishments because I'm quite a heavy embellisher. And so I also love that everything works together, of course, because it's a kit. And I also adore the exclusive products that we get. So one thing I'll say to you is if you don't want to miss out on these kits, do make sure you become a subscriber. You get a discount off all of the kits as a subscriber, and I have the link below to the website, so do go and check it out if you've been thinking about subscribing. So now I've added a third little cluster, like I said, or a third area of embellishment. I've added the tag. After I did my journaling, I realised that I don't have the date on this layout and I didn't leave any room for it. I don't really want to write it anywhere else. So that red tag that I cut apart had a place for the date, so I've just cut that off into a strip and glued it onto the tag, and you'd never know that it wasn't part of the tag. So then I realised that I could have finished the layout where it was, but for me it needed something else again. So I've got these mixed die cuts out, and they have florals, some phrases, some clouds, and some fruity kind of pieces. And I'm just pulling the florals, and what I do with florals is I bend up the petals as much as I can, adhere them, and then go back once the liquid adhesive is dry and lift those petals up even more. And so that adds even more dimension, and I was going to say movement, but nothing's really moving because it's adhered, but you know what I mean. So I'm loving how that purple one looks on the purple tag. Most of them are stuck directly down. I have tucked a couple of these tags. So yeah, I'm now wanting to add some clouds because this is a plain flight layout. It's a travel layout, and I thought these were the perfect whimsy little touch. So just adding them, just with some dimensional adhesive. And I'm loving how this is looking. So just checking to see if there's any more flowers I want to add. I did think about adding enamel dots onto this as well, but just decided to add some white acrylic ink from my stash, just as a final little touch. I think for me it's very rare now that I don't add some form of ink or splatters or mixed media onto my layouts. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using a paintbrush just to get smaller splatter, just splattering it around, and I'm just so super happy with how this layout turned out. I think it's the perfect little girly travel layout, and I love how these kits have just helped me create this layout. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will definitely be back next month here with another video for you. Take care.